Welcome to this live stream again here on YouTube. I'm so glad some of you have joined me. You can hear my little assistant in the background letting you know we are live. I wanted to start by reading a quote that, when I read it only days ago, deeply inspired me. It's by Lester Levenson, and doesn't this encompass much of what, if you've heard me share before, I share? You can have anything you want, providing, and here's the caveat, that you let go of it first, that you let go of wanting it. See, we are powerful creators and we can really have anything we want in this life. But we have to learn how to surrender. See, it's important that we have things in life, but it's important that things don't have us. And what Lester encompasses so brilliantly here is, yes, we can have anything. We can manifest the perfect relationship, manifest the perfect life, have abundance, but we can't let the things have us. That is when we get out of alignment. So it's a great quote to start with and sets up this message perfectly. And Aaron, why don't you let me know some of the people that are joining? I love connecting with you. Let's make this engaging today. My goal, my dream for these interactions is to build community. I have a deep desire to have a place where people can come and feel inspired, uplifted, motivated, and feel connected to other like-minded individuals. So we've got some exciting things in the work, me and Aaron and the team that is coming in. And if you want to be a part of this team, you can let Aaron know in the chat. And we'd love to have you a part of this team. But we're touching people from all over the globe. We're blessed to have the technology now that we have. And welcome to those people there. I will get to you in just a moment. You know what I just noticed? My nice screen in the background is not so nice. Let me fix that. There we go. You know we are live when we have any technical glitches. So there we go. Doesn't that look much nicer as a background to me than some fonts in the background? And welcome to Mia and Mary. So good that you joined us. We're going to answer some questions in the live today. We're going to be interacting together, answering questions. Before we get into it, I'm excited about, and I'm going to give away a free copy of my book during this live stream. So if you want a free copy, I'll send it to you for free. Doesn't matter where you are in the world, I'll get you delivered to your home a copy of my book, Quantum Cellular Healing. If you stay to the end, we're going to select one of you, and I'm going to send you a copy of my new book released on Amazon only this week. This has been a dream in the making for me. The years I've worked with the methods of Dolores Cannon's quantum healing hypnosis technique, my years of research into quantum physics and mechanics have taught me about the mind and the body connection, and how really our thoughts and our words become our cellular reality. Every cell in your body is responding to the beliefs, the words that you have. You are the command center, commanding every cell. Now, this isn't just woo-woo and positive thinking. This is rooted in understandings of quantum physics, quantum mechanics, that we create our reality with every word, every thought that we send out. Who else have we got joining in the chat? I want to greet some of you as you're online here, Aaron. We have Alex. Aaron, give me some names of some people that are joining. Let's make this interactive before I get going. I noticed last time, because I always review when I do these live streams, we didn't have as much interaction as previous ones. And so I'm always refining these and perfecting them so that you get a better experience. So I want to make you feel welcome. I want to make you feel included. And I want you to also know that we are live. You can tell that by the screen and Louis barking. So we have Josh and Alex and Mary and Sammy. Welcome to all of you. It's so wonderful that you're here live. Don't you love lives? Don't you love the energy that comes with doing something live? Now, let me know, and Julie, welcome to you. We've got people from all over the globe. And I think this is wonderful that in this day and this age that we live, we can be anywhere in the world. And it's not like watching a YouTube video, because there are videos on this channel to watch. But I want to create live content for you, a live community that you can be a part of. I hear from people all of the time that they feel isolated, that they feel cut off from their tribe. What we're doing here is we are building a tribe of like-minded individuals, regardless of where you are in the world, wherever you find yourself, that you can be a part of something, a community that's going to inspire, teach, uplift, and make you the best version of yourself. See, I've come to learn we are what we think. We are what we say. How do we create a different reality out there? We experience everything first through the mind. And what we've learnt through the ages, the teachings of Dolores Cannon, teachings on the law of attraction, is we have to program this mind. We have to put in the programming like software in order to get a specific result. So my job as a teacher and a guide is to help change your thinking, realign your thinking, program your mind so that you create from a conscious place. Every single person in the world, this is the biggest misconception when it comes to manifestation and the law of attraction. We think that there are good manifestors, or we think there are manifestors and non-manifestors. Everybody is a manifester. We're all creating our reality. For most, they're doing it unconsciously. Some of you are doing it consciously. We are what we think. We are what we say. We are what we believe. And that is mirrored back to us through the universe, through the law of attraction. Everything is being returned to you. And let me give you just a little example of this. I live in Australia. You can probably tell by my Aussie accent. G'day, mate. Here in Australia, we have the oldest living tribe in the world, the indigenous culture of Australia. They have a device, some of you will be familiar with this device, that was used for hundreds of thousands of years as a hunting device. It's called a boomerang. And I've got one here, right, that you can see. And what the indigenous culture of Australia would do is they would send out this boomerang. Sometimes they'd use it for ceremonial purposes, other times as a hunting device. But when this was sent out, because of the circular shape of the boomerang, the design of it is to go out and then return back. I think this is the perfect analogy of our thoughts and our emotions. We send out our words, emotions into the universe, into our life, and they always return to us. That's the way they're designed. They're designed to return to us. But not only do they return to us as those things, they come back with force and amplification. if you're sending out a negative thought, that negative thought is returning back to you not only the way you sent it, but it comes back to you amplified and more of it. This is going to work in the positive as well. If you're sending out thoughts of love and thoughts of abundance and thoughts of gratitude, well, you're going to get a momentous flow of those things back to you. See, this is how this universe works. We are directing and sending out vibrations. Whatever frequency we send out, we get back. A lot of us criticize other people. In fact, I'll put my hand up to this. I used to be one of those people that criticized other people a lot until I really understood this concept. What I give out comes back to me like the boomerang. But not only does it come back the way I send it out, it comes back amplified. I get more negativity in my life. See, it's like a radio station, whatever frequency you're tuned into. If you're tuned into negativity, you're getting that broadcast. When we, and I want to get into this, are grateful, we get on the gratitude frequency. When you're on the gratitude frequency and you're grateful for what you have, no matter how much or little that is, that frequency, that boomerang is sent out and it comes back to you with more things to be grateful for. Why do you think gratitude is such a powerful practice? Why do people talk about journaling and gratitude and being grateful? Because what you send out is returned back to you. You might be sitting here listening to this and you've been going through negativity. Perhaps you believe that you're stuck in negativity. When you're tuned into that frequency, obviously we don't do it consciously, but if you've done that subconsciously, do you know you can change your frequency? You can change your channel, like a radio or television station. I noticed yesterday when I was having a conversation, we used to have 300 channels on the TV station here, or the TV network here in Australia, like 300 channels. I think they've scaled it back now. And people would just flick, and scroll through until they found a broadcast that was aligned, that they were interested in watching. Now, we do this through social media now, don't we? We flick, and scroll and flick and scroll and flick until we find something that is aligned. What I want to create here is consistent and a consistent broadcast for you to get positivity, for you to get inspired, for you to get uplifted. So that is what you receive as a broadcast in your life. See, if you are focused on good, if you're focused on gratitude, if you're focused on abundance, those things have to, and say this with me, have to return back to you like, I dropped my boomerang, so I'll pick it up, right back to you like the boomerang. It has to return back to you. Now, if I had enough room in my studio where I would throw this out and it would come back. But we don't have enough time, so I know you believe me on that. Say I create my reality. And I know Ryan has asked a question. I've got to ask, what is it like living upside down? Can you elaborate on that question? And perhaps, Aaron, we can have the next question that has come through on emails. I want to answer that for you, Ryan. What is it like living upside down? I just want to make sure that I understand the question in full. All right, I've got a quote that I want to read you. And this comes from my book, actually. This is how powerful your thoughts are. Your thoughts are more powerful than you've probably really understood in the past. Every cell, and Dolores Cannon taught us this, that we are like cells in the body of God, all interconnected to each other. And we don't know this consciously, but there is an interconnectedness between every being, every individual in this reality. You're connected to everybody. This is why if you send out negativity toward another, forgive me there for my boomerang triggering my off camera, do you know that that interconnectedness, because you are connected to the whole, like a cell in a body, when you talk negatively about another person, when you criticize and are negative about another individual, what you are doing is you're really doing it to yourself. What you give out comes back to you amplified. Our cells listen to our thoughts with great attention. A positive mind nurtures the body at the most fundamental level. From my book, Lester Levenson, who's heard of Lester? Like Dolores Cannon, he's passed on now, one of the pioneers of the New Thought movement. Taught us great wisdom. Let me tell you Lester's story. Lester was 42 years of age, had obtained worldly success, was a physicist. I believe he was a multimillionaire. He obtained a lot physically. And Lester, at 42 years of age, actually my age right now, was very sick in his body. His body was shutting down. He had issues with his heart. In fact, what happened was the doctors sent him home to die. And Lester, being one that was not one that gave up in the face of adversity, wasn't ready to die. But he really thought that he hadn't found the answers to anything. He had searched and studied the great philosophers. He had studied and done all the things that the world told him he needed to do to be successful. And yet he found himself with conditions of a body that was breaking down, terrible health, terrible condition, really sent home to die. And this was back in the 50s, before we had things like triple bypass surgeries and ways to survive. He was put off to die. Rather than succumb to that challenge, Lester decided he was going to find out the answers. And he really went on an exploration, an internal exploration, to discover really what life was really about. He made some amazing discoveries that eventually led on to a technique now that is practiced called the Sedona technique. But Lester understood that he created his reality. You know what? The weeks went by, the months went by, the years went by, and 42 years later, he was still alive. See, Lester tapped into something that we all can tap into, the infinity. You know what Lester discovered? That he wasn't his body, he wasn't his mind, he wasn't his limitations, he wasn't his life situation. He was the infinite awareness that was perceiving it. When he shifted his identification from the limited to the limitless, all things began to align and be possible for him. The ailments were eradicated. See, thoughts create things. Dolores Cannon taught us that if we are powerful enough to make ourselves sick, we are powerful enough to make ourselves well. And your thoughts become things. Say that with me. Thoughts become things. Every thought you send out, like the boomerang, is returning back to you in the form of your life, the way you are experiencing it. We're putting out negativity and negativity and negativity and doubt and defeat and why old me. It's just coming back to you, not only returning, but with momentum, with force. You're getting more of those conditions. When we become conscious of this process that we're all doing it, the understanding that Lester Levenson tapped into, the understanding that Dolores Cannon taught in her many books, we can then begin to create consciously and intentionally. And that's where we become master manifestors, where we begin to create our reality from a place of knowledge. There's a word in the ancient Greek called gnosis. Knowledge. Knowledge is power. But knowledge isn't power unless you use the knowledge. We can acquire knowledge through now ChatGPT, Google, amongst other sources. We have it at the disposal of our fingertips all of the time. But unless you apply that knowledge, unless you practice, unless you live this message, you're only going to get what you're predominantly sending out most of the time. Why is it important that we listen to these messages like you're listening to today? Why is it important that you would even take the time to listen to this? Because what I'm doing, and I'm pretty passionate, I'm that kind of a person, I get rather excited. You can probably see me jumping up and down. I have excitement in me. I feel passionate about this message. I'm passionate about this message because I have seen people that have been given death sentences like Lester. They've been given weeks to live, months to live. They've had chronic disease, chronic depression, chronic anxiety, and they have discovered for themselves that the power doesn't lie in a pill out there, that the power doesn't lie in other relationships or in acquisition or in the external, that the power is within thyself. And when they tap into that internal power that we all not only have and possess, that we are, you, like Lester, become limitless. Nothing is impossible for you. You can have anything you want as long as you don't get attached to it. As long as you remain in the flow. You remain moving with allowing life to be and seeing life through the lens and the perspective of perfection. See, that's what Lester did. And Lester's work has gone on to inspire hundreds of thousands of people all over this globe and continues to do so, including me. Dolores Cannon was another great pioneer that spent 45 years of research and investigation to discover this most important fact, that we create our reality, that our words are creating our reality, that our thoughts are creating our reality. And what we're really here to do, why we're really here incarnate, the number one soul's purpose is to learn how to manipulate energy to become a master manifester and creator. Now, what does that mean, to manipulate energy? Does it mean something negative? Sure, it has a negative connotation, but in the context of me talking about it during this live stream is to consciously mold and to shape one's reality intentionally. So you are, and you can have, you are infinite, and you can have anything you want, good or bad or indifferent, but you have to choose what that is according to your frequency, according to what you are sending out. Why would I put together and put the effort into the studio that I've got here, all of the production, Aaron's there in the chat? Why would we do this? We do this to create a place for you to come, for you to learn from some of the wisdom traditions, from the wisdom teachers that have inspired me, from all these years of their dedication, of their contribution, so that you can take those tools back into your life and use them so that you can create consciously, you can create the life that you want, not only for the benefit of yourself. When we learn to live in the flow of life, we understand that we just want to serve. We just want to give. Boy, when you live in the flow of love, do you just become a loving person? Do you become a giving person? See, this is why I'm passionate about what I do. Although I may not be able to see your faces right now, energetically, I'm tuned into you and you into me, if you're receiving this. And energetically, because we are of the same, we aren't separate individuals, that's the illusion. We are all the same. We are all one beyond the physical. We are infinite awareness that is identified with Tammy. Hello, Tammy, by the way. Lovely to see you in the chat, in the comments. As Aaron. I know that Aaron isn't just Aaron, physical and physically incarnate. Aaron is infinite awareness that is having the experience of Aaron as a tool. When Aaron leaves the physical, he will discard the body, discard the conditioned mind, and take back into infinite awareness all of the experiences, the contributions that he made, and then he will have another adventure. So you cannot die. When you understand that death is an illusion, that everything in this reality is Maya, ancient Sanskrit word illusion, you wake up in the dream. You cease to identify with what people say about you. See, I get criticized all the time. It's to this, it's to that. When you cease to identify with the form, you become the formless. You become the infinite. You become identified with that. And when you're identified with that, you begin to live with an energy which you hear me communicate in. We're not subject to the external conditions. See, the thing is, when you live like this, you're happy all of the time. You don't derive happiness according to the way you think life should go or the way it is going. You live from a place of awareness. And when you identify, when you understand that you are that awareness, you are ceasing to be confined to the conditions, to the suffering of life. That is freedom. That is liberation. That is what people are seeking often out there as actualization. To become self-actualized, you don't find it out there. You don't find it in a course or a teaching or in a book. You realize it when you identify with you as it. We're going to take a short couple of minute break now, as we always do during this. I'm going to review some of the questions, and when we return, we'll get into some more specific questions. They've come in via email. We'll have more. You can type them in the chat, like this, engage with this. That always helps more people see this message. I'm passionate today. I'm really passionate, and I think people need to hear this. I think people have been depressed for way too long. They've been identified with aspects of themselves that I think they're ready to let go, particularly with the movement of the Lionsgate portal. And I will read some more about the portal after we return, just in a moment. All right, we should be back here. Let me just check that we are coming through. Okay. No, let me make sure that we have. There we go. I always have to flick my screens over. I want to always make sure that things are working okay from a technical perspective. And we're perfecting this. We're building community here. My goal, let me tell you a little bit about my goal for this community here. I want people to have a place to come to in a live environment where they can feel a part of community, where they can feel inspired, where they can feel uplifted by positivity, not the negative noise that exists out there. There's plenty of places to go for that. But I really want to create a place that people know they can regularly come to, where they feel a part of something, where they feel that they're contributing, where they're being taught, where they're being inspired. Who is interested in that type of an offering? Let me know in the comments. I want to hear from you. And Aaron will let me know what people think about that concept. I think it's really, Aaron has said me, first one there. Aaron's one of our founding, or the founding person really, that has been with me since the beginning and really support. He does so much behind the scenes to create for you beautiful content that's uplifting and inspiring. And you know what? We just give not because we get. You know what real love is? When we, and this came to me through the teachings of Lester Levenson the other day, when you love to get something back, that's not real love. That is just egoic ways of being. I'll give to get. That's the ego. When we give without any expectation to receive back, that is true love. That is real love. That is the love that the great masters like Jesus spoke about. You love from that place not to get. You love from that place because that is your true nature. Say, my true nature is love. Beyond all of the conditioning, beyond the mind, beyond the body, is your essence. Your true essence is what? Love. Is awareness. Love is the universal force that sends all of life into motion. It animates all of life. This is why we live in a galaxy that is kept together. It's not kept together because it's competing with each other and it's fractured. No, that is the human aspect, the dream, the illusion. The real you, beyond the illusion, the one that is perceiving it, is infinite. Now, most of us never really identify with who we are. I want you to try this little exercise with me right now. If thoughts weren't there, just ask yourself this internally. If thoughts aren't there, what is there? And you can let me know in the comments what your response is to this. If thoughts aren't there, what is there? Is it perception? Is it awareness? If emotions aren't there, what is there? The answer to that is what you really are. Infinite awareness. Hello, Stardust. Great to see you. Join us again. Awareness, someone has said. Hello, Dan. Presence. Presence, consciousness, awareness, all synonymous, all meaning the same. Some call it God, or the God self. It doesn't really matter what we call it. They're just labels anyway, for us to try to understand and comprehend what we're speaking of. But this does not have form, and yet it is always aware. For the vast majority of people, we so identify with the persona, the person, the body, the mind, we become all of those things. We become the thoughts. We become, in fact, we even, for most, put an I am at the beginning. I am depressed. I am sad. I am poor. And through the power of our infinite nature, we become what we believe. So you can believe yourself into the most limited aspect you can be. You can believe that you are stuck, that you are depressed, that you are unlovable, that you'll never have the right relationship. And through the power of this infinite awareness, you can have that because of your free will. You can have that experience. And boy, do some people love to identify with all of those things. You might say, well, who would choose that? Well, actually, many people do choose that experience. They love the attention that they get from being able to identify and have the sympathy that comes with not having. In fact, they'll tell you about it. They'll be vibing on that frequency. They'll be talking about how unfair life is, how everything never goes their way, how everything always works against them rather than for them, how nothing in their experience ever works out, and poor little old me. Likewise, you can identify with a much higher aspect, which is abundance, love, confidence. This is something that I went from down here. I used to identify with not being confident, right? I used to identify with being shy, introverted. I couldn't share or communicate. Until I dropped that identification. Until I said, I don't need that any longer. It's not serving me anymore. I don't want to identify with that aspect. So what I did is I started to identify with a version of myself that was going to be the vehicle to do what I needed to do, which was to fulfill my soul's purpose. When I re-identified, I began to animate through the power of the awareness that I am a higher version of myself. That version, that aspect became limitless. See, there's no limit to what we can create. Lester Levenson said the only limit is that which we set for ourselves. Dolores Cannon said the only limit, that is which we set for ourselves. You can have anything you want, anything. But you cannot let those things have you. The moment you let those things have you, you've dropped down to the limitation. You have to, and if you want to be limitless, identify with the limitlessness of who you are. Now, Aaron, for some reason, my YouTube is not showing any comments. Can you tell me if there are comments in the chat? I've got 0 comments in mine. Perhaps mine's not updated or something. But please let me know. We have Clyde there. Clyde has a question. Let me read this. Yes, there are. Okay, so for some reason my system is not updating today. Aaron, let me know some of the questions that people have as I take a sip of my water here. Aaron's getting in there on the chat with some questions. All right. Stardust has said, yes, it's showing comments. My screen is not showing anything, so I will trust you. I will trust Aaron, and Aaron will let me know what's coming through, and I'll let you be my eyes and ears. Okay. Let me just flick that because, okay, Karen has asked, I've been trying to manifest financial abundance, but keep facing unexpected expenses. How can I align my thoughts and energy to overcome the setbacks and attract more? Setbacks, disappointments, delays tend to be an inevitable part of the illusion, what we call life. Remember, it's not real. I call it for what it is, illusion, Maya. The moment you begin to identify with any of it is the moment that you are moving from infinite awareness of all possibility and you move into the place of limitation. The moment that you identify with limitation is what can only follow that belief. If you identify with limitedness, what's going to happen? What you give out is going to come back to you. The moment you, as infinite awareness, identify with financial issues, blocks, delays, you're shifting from limitless awareness to limitedness. Limitedness can only create more limitedness and come back to you as the form of more limitation. Really let me answer Karen's question, is Karen, what you really want to do is shift your identification from what you perceive to what you are. See, if we lived our lives like this, if we lived our lives identifying with the I am instead of what I have, we would experience a completely different reality. See, what you have is not you. What you experience is not you. They are just the result of what you've been thinking about. Now, if you identify with a limitless abundance, it doesn't matter what you see out there. You don't have to be stuck or identified with it. See, this is how people fall into depression, right? They say, I am depressed. I'm depressed. I am. I'm feeling it. I'm having the experiences. I'm feeling the emotions. I'm having the thoughts. They're dark. It's heavy. I am depressed. Through your power and identification, you become what you think about. You become what you give your infinite energy and awareness to, good or bad. See, we live in a universe with polarity. I loved when I first heard this that I don't believe that there is good or bad. Dolores Cannon taught us is that there's no good or bad, there are just energies. Positive energy and negative energy. Teachings like the Course of Miracles talks about this as well, that there is only love as a true state, and everything else is an illusion or fear. Totally different ways of articulating the same. The moment you're out of love, your true awareness, your true state, you're in fear or in negativity or Maya or in illusion. The wonderful news about that is any time you like, you can shift your awareness, your identification back to your true state, your true nature. So it's not a rapid process. It's a shift in perception. It's a remembering. It's a going back to who and what you always are. See, you don't have to try to be enlightened. You don't have to try to be in joy. You don't have to try. You just have to be and identify with what you already are. What you already are, all of those things you already possess. You are those things. You are the limitless awareness, the consciousness. That is you. That is the formless you that has no beginning or end and will never cease to be. The only things that will cease to be are the manifested conditions that are always shifting and changing. The depression, the moment that you say, I am depressed, you become that because you're declaring that as you. You're identifying with it. You're making it a you. You know how quickly it is to shift an identification? Split second. I used to be depressed, believe you me. I was on medication. I was stuck in depression for years and years and years until I realized this truth that I am not those things unless I want to identify with them. If I want to identify with them, I become them. See, you aren't your thoughts. Your thoughts are your tools to create. Your mind is your tool to create. And you can have and create anything you want. Either good, probably a better word to say is negative. You can create negative things, or you can create positive things. Let me know in the comments what are some of, and I'm going to look over to Aaron and trust Aaron to be my ears and eyes, what we want to create. What do we want to create? Just write it as one word in the comments. What are some of the things that we want to create in our experience so that I can have an idea in real time to some of those things? What do we want to create for ourselves? Aaron, what do you want to create? Tammy, what do you want to create? Stardust, what do you want to create? Is it perfect relationships? Please talk about the Lionsgate. Amazing, absolutely. Now, yes, give me a second. I will grab my notes here because I do want to read this out, and thanks for reminding me, Aaron. Aaron sent me this. Every once in a while, the universe shakes things up, deeply stirring energies that impact our daily life. One of the events is Mercury entering Virgo, a sign that rules during the retrograde shadow phase. This energy impacts everybody. So you may have noticed in the last 24 hours that your senses are enhanced. Who's noticed that? Your mind is sharper and you have no patience for drama. Don't be surprised if you wake up in the night with a sudden urge to declutter, reorganize, and restructure all aspects of your life. This period encourages you to prioritize, streamline, and focus on what you want. It's time for a deep clear out. Who's noticing some of these aspects as we're in this astrological phase? Tammy said, I want to create happiness, wealth, and independence. You already have all of those things. You want to shift them into your experience. Tell me if you can think of the life you're living as a dream. You are the dreamer. Like at night when you go to sleep and you have a dream, you, with your mind, create the people, the scenes, the situations, the events. And then after the dream, you awaken to discover that it was all a dream. Tell me, this is exactly how your, what you call physical life is. It's an illusion, it's a dream. So as the dreamer, as the perceiver, as the infinite awareness, Tammy, you can have any of these things you want, but first you have to shift them into your experience. How do you do that? You do it with your words and your beliefs. Your words, beliefs, and emotions together work as an energetic force to create the conditions of your life. So you got to believe it. You got to experience it emotionally. You got to feel it. You got to think it, and you got to say it to create it. When you use this process of deliberate creation, Tammy, you have to use the words I am. You have to believe that you don't have it out there somewhere, that you already possess it, that you already have it. Think about it when you go into the kitchen and you have all of the ingredients in front of you. Now, technically, you have the meal, right? You've got all the ingredients lined up. You've got everything there that will be consumed when you eat the meal. You have all of the ingredients. You have everything within you. All you need to do is create it for yourself. You need to create it like a person creates a wonderful meal. You need to put it into conditions. You need to be a little bit patient while it cooks. You need to be a little bit conscious as you are combining the different aspects of the recipe to make sure that it's perfect by the time that you consume. All right, so that is a good analogy. I like that analogy. You just came up with it. Who likes that analogy? I think that's good. We got a few analogies today. We've got a boomerang and we've got cooking. Hopefully, analogies that people relate to. And who hasn't heard of I'm interested to hear in the comments, who hasn't heard or seen one of these before? Maybe some of you have, maybe some of you haven't. I'd be interested to know because this is something that is very special to our culture here in Australia, the boomerang. Someone says they have one. Who was that? Is that you, Aaron? Veronica says joy. Yeah, joy is an aspect of this infinite awareness. Joy is our natural state. Love is our natural state. And all these other things, depression, anxiety, there must be people that have identified with depression today because I keep going back to that. You probably know I don't rehearse any of what I'm going to say. I don't have a script that I've worked off for. Today I don't even have notes. Normally I have some notes, but I didn't take any notes today. So I'm really just trusting that we're in the flow today. But I've been saying depression a little bit. So generally when that happens, I trust my intuition. It means that there are people that have been identifying with that. Now, you don't specifically have to say that, but I know that is speaking to you. When you say, I am depressed, you're using that infinite awareness, which you really are, to become that thing. I challenge you. You might honestly say words like, I feel depression. There's depression. Oh, that's depression. But the moment you identify with it as I am, you draw that in, you identify with it, and guess what? You're creating more of those things to come back to you because everything is responding to you. It's responding to your thoughts, your emotions. Everything is being magnetized back to you. All right, Clyde. Hello, Clyde Barton. Welcome to you. I haven't seen you before, Clyde. Hello. And thank you for being a part of this. Creating an ongoing elevated emotional state of love, joy, and happiness. These must be heartfelt, not just head said. Great point, Clyde. Experiencing these emotions from the heart. Clyde beautifully said, raises such a great truth. It has to be from the heart. A lot of people use affirmations or, they spurt off things and they don't really believe them. I was talking about emotions before. Emotions are a good gauge of the thoughts that we've been thinking. We need to believe when we create, when we're in the creation process, that we are these things. We are joy. We are peace. We are love. They are the ingredients of our nature. Joy is your natural state. Very few people live in that natural state or live in the love state. A lot of people, what they think is love is not love at all. It is egoic thinking. And this is a good test to know. If you are giving out to get back, that is not love. I'll love them if they do this for me. I'll love them if they love me back. That is not the love that runs this universe. The unconditional love is exactly that, unconditional. When I started this channel, when Aaron helped me pioneer it, and we're pioneers here, I'd love for you to be a part of this team, and you can let Aaron know if you want to be a part of this. We will connect with you personally and see how we can include you in this community. You might want to serve people. When we started this, we still continue to use our own resources, our own money. We have been through times where we manifest one screen at a time, and I'm believing to manifest a proper studio so that I can communicate with you better. And we broadcast all around the world, so we need your support. And if you feel that you want to support us and be a part of this by giving back, Aaron will leave a link for you to do so. But one by one, we manifested everything. And each month we've got all these bills that come in that we pay to create all the animation that you enjoy here on YouTube, all the videos that get created. It takes a lot of resources to make this happen. Now, we've been doing this for quite a number of years. We've done it because we love to serve. We love it because to this day it's reached millions of people. But we don't get paid to do it. We don't get back from it. Sometimes we get some nice comments. Sometimes we get emails that say how impacted people have been by the content. But we don't give, and I speak for Aaron and myself because we talk about this a lot when we're on the phone together. In the face of all the adversity that we've faced, you might see all the positive signs. We've had so much adversity. We haven't had a lot of support by others. It's just been us that's really held on to this vision. We've continued to give. We've continued to inspire outreach. Not because we're trying to get, but because we know that is our true nature. Love gives regardless of receiving. Love gives if there's no one to receive it, because that is its nature. There's a little story about a scorpion. And this scorpion makes friends with, I don't know, I think it's a character. It's like, say, a snake. Let's say it's a snake. They make friends. And the way this little analogy goes is that although they're friends, snake learns to trust the scorpion and vice versa. And in the end, the scorpion flings down its venom and kills the snake. And then they must have some dialogue after it where you say, why did you do that? We were friends. We had an agreement. Where, you shouldn't have done that. You killed me. And he said, well, I couldn't help it because it was my nature. What does that show us? That was the nature of the scorpion to attack, to sting. It's just the nature of it. Your true nature, your real nature, the nature of infinite awareness is oneness, is love. It's not, I've got this and you're over there and I'll compete with you. And it really is who we are beyond the illusion. If you can live and spend your life from that place, it doesn't matter about the external. You don't care if you get praised or criticized. I let go of that a long time ago. Sometimes people love the way I communicate and others are just so repelled by it. I don't identify with any of it. Some days it feels like we're giving all of this effort and putting all of this effort in and it's not being received. My job in doing this and leading this team of people, and it is a small team at the moment, it is just me and Aaron. We have a few people that partner with us, but I want to create a team of people. I really want to create a community for people to feel loved, to feel inspired, to feel passionate, to feel part of something, to have a home to come to. And I believed that and Aaron will testify that. I believed in that in my heart for so long. I'm doing this now, not because of what will become of it. And let me tell you, I'm not doing it because it's easy. It's been far from easy. But I do it because I know it's my nature, and I know that by creating community, by making people feel good, they start to create good. And then those people go out and they're better versions of themselves. They free themselves from the depression and the anxiety. You see, I know that's my true nature. Aaron knows that it's his true nature to do what we're doing. And we get adversity. We've had a lot of challenges. We've had people that have disappointed us in the past, and we've had people that have not liked what we've done and have criticized and all of that stuff. But I just came to learn that even if it's just me and Aaron, and even if there's just a few of you that, and I appreciate you, Tammy and Robin and Karen that are here and the others that continue to come back. I know that we're a family. We think alike. See, it doesn't matter when it's all said and done. If you've lived your purpose and you've lived from love, everything's going to work out in the end. I know that because I've seen it in every situation of my life. When I identify with the lack and limitation and the challenge, that's when I feel like giving up. That's when I'm out of my power. But when I'm in the power of love, we just keep going, don't we, Aaron? We just keep broadcasting. We just keep showing up. Even when the numbers start dropping and people engage less and don't share, we just show up anyway. Tammy says, good point. Dan, yeah, we do it anyway. We do it anyway because it's our nature. If you feel that you want to be a part of this really exciting community that's just taking off now, I got some plans for even this week that's going to bless people, and having place for people to come meditate together and commune with other people and have their needs met. And I want to be giving to people all around the world. You know, there's causes in India that I really want to give to, and things I really want to do as a community. If you feel like you want to partner with us, you want to be a part of this, please let Aaron know in the chat. And there's also a link if you want to give and support what we do. If you believe in this as well, that would go so far to help us do so much more, have more equipment, more that we can keep giving. But you know what? Even if that doesn't happen, we're going to do it anyway. You can see that we've been doing this for quite a few years now, and it's just been us, and we're going to continue to do it. But it is so much easier when we get out of competitiveness, when we get out of competition, and we come together and we do it as a team. Boy, are we so much more powerful when we can come together, realizing that we aren't separate individuals, that we are the one infinite awareness, the one consciousness. See, this is what realization is all about. And Jesus said this so beautifully when he said, love thy neighbor as thyself. He didn't say that to sound like you were generous or kind. He said that because you are your neighbor. You are your neighbor. You are that person out there. They are all aspects of the one consciousness in every life force, in every part of this creation. And I believe that this universe is teeming with life. But the reason that we've been cut off and the reason that we haven't had contact with some of these other beings is because we're so divided. We see all of ourselves as fragmented and separate. We're in competition, even in the spiritual community. My channel versus your channel. And you're doing that and competing and all of this stuff that goes on. That is what is causing the fragmentation. The identity that we are separate. If you take one thing from this message today, it is this. You aren't a separate, fragmented human being somewhere. You are the one infinite consciousness that pervades throughout all of life. When you start to identify with that, when you come together in communities like this that affirm that's who you are, that's when everything changes for you. And you go into living in a place of what I call living with purpose, on purpose. Dolores Cannon said this, we are like all cells in the body of God, interconnected, communicating with each other. Isn't that a much better way to see ourselves as not little old me somewhere, but a vital organ in the overall body of consciousness that has and there are different functions in a human body, different cells that carry out different tasks, different organs in the overall organism that play crucial functions. But isn't it better that when we come together and are in harmony, when we're not fragmented, boy, do we have a capacity to really do so much more and to really serve and to do what Dolores Cannon talked about in all of her teachings. Who resonates, let me know in the comments with her teachings. That we've volunteered to come here now to help humanity shift from one level of consciousness and to ascend into a much higher vibration. A new earth, a new way of being, a new understanding. When you start to identify with that, nothing is impossible. Thank you for those that are partnering and going to support us in giving, and maybe will be a part of our team by volunteering. We're going to be doing some Zoom stuff for you and some stuff that will help you and give back to you as you join with us. We want to bless you. This is a family, and we're building this family one person at a time, We're pioneers. We're starting something completely different that I don't think has been done before. And I'm so excited to be able to be leading this team, leading this family into a whole new version of humanity. I call it Human 2.0. It's a understanding that we are this infinite awareness and we're waking up from the dream and identifying with who and what we truly are. I love you all. I love you, Tammy. I love you, Aaron. I love all of you that are here with me, and I'm so grateful for you. I can't wait to see you next time we do this. Much love to you all.